Welcome back to Pelangi 21. Today I will show you a 2018 American romantic comedy drama film directed by Greg Berlanti, titled Love, Simon. The film stars Nick Robinson, Josh Duhamel, and Jennifer Garner. It centers on Simon, who keeps a secret from his family and his friends that he's gay. When that secret is threatened, Simon must face everyone and come to terms with his identity. The film starts with Simon as he tells us about himself. His parents are former quarterback Jack and best student Emily. His younger sister Nora is an aspiring chef. Simon spends time with his three best friends, Leah, Nick, and Abby. He considers himself fairly normal, other than his one secret: he's gay. Before he heads to school, Simon sees a man he finds attractive working with a leaf blower. He tries to talk to him but ends up being awkward. Simon picks his friends up for school. The only openly gay student at school is Ethan, who is picked on by Aaron and Spencer. Their principal, Mr. Worth, always tries to relate to his students, and always swipes students' phones for texting. Simon and Abby are performing in the school's production of Cabaret, and their teacher, Miss Albright, is frequently fed up with her students' lack of actual talent. At home, Simon is watching TV with his family when Jack makes an unfortunate joke about a guy on The Bachelor. Later on, Simon gets a FaceTime call from Leah, who tells him about the school's blog where an anonymous student going by Blue has come out as gay. Simon decides to start emailing Blue under the alias of Jacques. Blue responds to Simon, and the two continue sending each other messages and forming a strong connection. Simon is at the school library where he accidentally leaves his emails open. They are found by his classmate Martin, who has a reputation for being extremely weird and annoying. Martin approaches Simon, and reveals he took screenshots of his emails and is effectively blackmailing Simon to set him up with Abby. Simon is upset but also isn't ready for everyone to know he's gay, so he reluctantly goes along with it. At lunch, Simon's friend Bram invites everyone to his house for a Halloween party. Simon starts to suspect that Bram could be Blue, based on their interactions and hints dropped in the emails. Simon and his friends meet up at his house. He invites Martin, to the chagrin of his friends. On their way to the party, Martin ends up trying too hard to talk to Abby, and she is clearly more interested in Nick. At the party, Nick tells Simon he is thinking of asking Abby out, but Simon comes up with a lie that Abby is seeing an older college guy. Simon later goes upstairs to find Bram making out with another girl, to Simon's disappointment. Leah walks Simon back home. They go to his room where Leah talks about loving one person for the rest of her life, meaning Simon himself. He doesn't get it and instead just goes to bed, and she sleeps on the floor. Martin urges Simon to move faster with Abby, or else the emails get leaked. Simon gets Abby and Martin to go with him to rehearse lines for the play. Martin tries to engage in conversation with Abby, who is anything but interested. He prods her for information regarding her move to Georgia from DC, which she ultimately admits is attributed to her parents' divorce, and her father being a cheater. Meanwhile, Simon becomes attracted to their waiter Lyle, who Simon now believes could be Blue. He walks outside as Lyle is sending a message on his phone. They chat briefly until Lyle goes back inside, and Simon gets a message from Blue, who is planning to come out to his father. Simon later takes Abby home and comes out to her. She says she is not surprised, even though she never suspected it, but she still loves Simon. Martin starts hanging around Simon and his friends, but is closest to Abby, whether she likes it or not. This bothers Nick, who still wants to ask Abby out. Simon tells him that Leah has a crush on him and that he should ask her out instead. The students go to their homecoming game. Simon sees Lyle and chats with him, but learns that he's straight and interested in Abby. As Simon walks away, he's approached by Martin. He asks Simon if he should make a romantic gesture for Abby, to which an apathetic Simon responds, "Go big or go home." Martin uses this as an opportunity, and interrupt the national anthem so that he can ask Abby out in front of the entire school. Embarrassed, she gently tells him that she's just not into him like that. Martin walks away humiliated. Over Christmas break, Simon tries to call Martin to see if he's okay. Leah then calls Simon to tell him to go on the confession blog. Martin, trying to throw attention away, ultimately posts Simon's emails. Nora sees the post and asks Simon, but he coldly turns her away. Simon goes absent from his friends during the break. He comes out to his parents on Christmas, and they appear okay with it, but Jack makes another bad joke, and he and Simon don't speak for a while. To make things worse, Simon speaks to Blue one more time, and Blue chooses not to continue sending messages. Simon spots his friends on the street. He goes to talk to them, but Nick and Abby are mad at him for making up lies to keep them apart. Simon admits what was going on with Martin and he apologizes, but they leave. Leah also admits to Simon that she was in love with him, and would have been fine with him being gay, but she is still mad about the lying. Upon returning to school, the other students all gawk at Simon after what happened. He approaches a student from his drama class, Cal, who Simon thought may have been Blue, but Cal denies it. During lunch, Simon sits alone when Aaron and Spencer mock him and Ethan in front of the cafeteria. Ms. Albright steps in, and shuts the two bullies down and sends them to the principal's office. Simon and Ethan are forced to go as well so the boys can apologize to them. Simon talks to Ethan, who says that although he is open and confident about his homosexuality, it isn't at all easy for him, and his mother still pretends for the rest of his family that he is straight. Afterwards, Simon is going home when he is approached by Martin, who is very apologetic, but Simon tells him to go away. Simon talks to his mom, who has no problem with him being gay and says he should be free to be himself. He later talks to his dad, who apologizes for all the times he's made dumb jokes, and he lets Simon know how much he loves him. Simon then helps Jack come up with a good slideshow for his and Emily's 20th anniversary. Simon finds Leah walking her dog on the street. He apologizes to her for lying and admits that he has fallen in love with Blue. She forgives him and asks to know more about Blue. Simon then posts a confession to the blog where he accepts himself and also apologizes to those that he hurt. Just about all of his classmates and teachers read it. He adds an invitation for Blue to find him somewhere after the school's play. The students at school now have a greater respect for Simon. The school puts on its production of Cabaret, which goes mostly well until the T on the sign breaks. After the show, Simon's friends, including Nick and Abby, who forgave him and are now dating, invite him to go with them to the carnival. Simon takes his entire stash of tickets and uses it to ride the Ferris wheel in case Blue shows up. All of his friends and classmates stand by to see if he will arrive. After a while, it appears hopeless, but Martin shows up and tries to make it up to Simon. First he pretends he was Blue, but admits that's not true, and he gives the operator money to keep it going. After a while, Blue finally arrives, and it turns out to be Bram. Simon realizes who he is, and Bram admits that what he saw at the party was a drunk moment that ended quickly. When they reach the top, Simon and Bram kiss, and everyone cheers. After that, Simon picks up his friends from school, now including Bram, as they have begun dating. As they ride to school, Simon notes that it's a beautiful day and they should go on an adventure, and his friends agree with him. Simon is a teenager with a fairly normal, happy life. He has family and best friends who are very close to him. No one thought that Simon kept a big secret that he is gay. He is actually pretty sure that his parents and best friends will be okay with knowing the secret. They will not be angry or judge him. He is simply afraid of being treated differently. When he finds one person at his school who has a similar secret and problem as him, Simon immediately messages him because he feels like they are connected. It makes Simon want to know who was listening and understood his problems. Simon's relationship with Blue, which was built slowly through email, was well crafted and meaningful. There are no elements and aspects that feel forced in the film. The acting and dialogue from the film are also good. I understand what Simon went through, and what he did to keep his secret. This film does not only discuss Simon's struggles in finding who he is, but also discusses the problems of being a teenager, such as love, bullying, and friendship. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, and turn on notification.